Hello and welcome to the PLDC midterm presentation of Group 72 at SLIIT. Our discussion topic will be language comparison in object-oriented programming concepts. Now before we go into details, I will give you a brief description about what we will be covering in this video. I will give you a brief introduction about some of the object-oriented features that we are going to discuss about and some of the principles that we will be discussing about. Now, what is object-oriented programming? If you search in Google object-oriented programming, you will get several definitions for it. But basically, object-oriented programming means that mapping real-world things and their behavior into software. Object-oriented programs have many features like classes, objects, method, inheritance, abstraction, encapsulation. There are plenty of things. But in this video, we are only going to talk about several of them. So in this video, what we are trying to do is show you how different languages represent those features and what are the ups and downs in how they are represented. Now when we are talking about a good programming language, we should consider about three things: readability, writability, and cost. In readability, we should consider about four parts: simplicity, orthogonality, control structures, and data types. In writability also we have to consider about four parts: simplicity, orthogonality, support for abstraction, and expressivity. And for cost, we should consider about three parts: program development cost, maintenance cost, and reliability. Now definitions for these will be in our blog and link will be in the description. Introduction to Java. Now when we think about object-oriented programming languages, the first thing that comes to our mind is Java, because Java is one of the most popular object-oriented languages in the world, and because of that we are going to start the language discussion with Java. Now when we think about object-oriented programming languages, Java is one of the most popular pure object-oriented programming languages in the world. Because of that we are going to start the language discussion with Java. Now let's see how to define a class in Java. Java uses class keyword to define a class. It can have non-access modifiers in front of it or access modifiers and the class name, attributes, and methods. Now this is how we define a class in Java. We use the class keyword and the name of the class to define the class in Java. These are the attributes, and below you can see the methods. And if we want to create an object of that class, first we have to give the class name and the object reference variable and new keyword. This is the part where you create the new object. Now if you want to get or set a value to dog variable, you can use the object reference variable dot operator and set the value in age method. You can give an system.out.println command to get the value of the above attribute. Here you can see the value. Now, but is this the only way to define a class in Java? The simple answer is no. There is another type of class called anonymous inner classes. Now these classes don't have and they don't use the keyword class. This is syntactically different from what we are used to, and because of this we can say that this is a violation of syntactic consistency principle. This kind of syntax might confuse the programmer. Now another place where we can see a violation of the syntactic consistency principle is the endpoint of the declaration of anonymous inner class. Now this is the endpoint. Now if you think about it, this is the same way an array definition ends. So when there is a large number of code lines, the programmer might get confused. So one can say this will decrease the readability of the software code. Now let's talk about inheritance. Inheritance is one of the most powerful features in object-oriented programming. Inheritance will allow two classes to have an ISA type relationship. In other words, inheritance will allow programmer to create subclasses of a certain class. This subclass will be able to inherit features and attributes from the superclass. Now, how do we represent inheritance in Java? The Java use extends keyword in order to represent a superclass and subclass relationship. Class, the new class name, extends keyword, and the superclass name will create a new subclass superclass relationship. Now let's take a coding example. Here we can see that class dog extends animal. This means that class dog is an extension or a subclass of the class animal. This means that all the attributes and methods of class animal will be inherited by the class dog. Now you can compile the program and see it's working perfectly. If you look at this subclass creation line, class dog extends animal, it clearly indicates that there is some sort of relationship between class dog and animal, because extend keywords gives that idea. This will hugely increase the readability and understandability of the program. Now there are languages like C++ and C# use a colon to show the superclass and subclass relationship, but compared to that, this is very readable and understandable. Now when we use this inheritance, we can simply increase the depth of inheritance tree by simply extending one class after another. But this can reduce the readability of the code, because simply the programmer must know what's going on in the superclass. And if there are many superclasses, it will be very hard to read and understand. But Java doesn't talk about an actual limit for the inheritance tree. That's not because there's no limit. The actual limit is set in such a high value that no one will normally bother to have such a high depth of the inheritance tree. One might think that if Java could set a maximum value for the depth of the inheritance tree, there will be no problem, but then the programmer would have to remember that value, and normally human beings don't like to remember things. So Java has put up a high value for the depth of the inheritance tree, so no one will bother to set that amount of depth to the inheritance tree. This is called 0-1 infinity principle. So that's all what I wanted to talk about Java. Then rest of the videos will contain information about other languages such as C# and C++. Thank you.